So I rented this voice. So thank you, Stephen, Blue, Ben, Barnes & Noble. This is cool. It's been a week, hasn't it? I want to give a bow of reverence to Leonard Cohen.
Yes.
My parents were teachers. My father taught high school drafting and industrial arts back when high schools had shop classes. My mother was a part-time elementary school substitute teacher, but mostly she stayed at home to take care of the kids, me and my 3 younger sisters. They weren't all that literary, but we had books from a Reader's Digest book club, and one of them was a book of classic American poetry, which probably made an impression on me. I think the difference between reading in a coffee house and a bookstore is here we are reminded of what words mean, both to people who write them and the people who seek them out. Through words we find connection with each other and perhaps something more inside ourselves. I've got maybe 6, 7 poems I'd like to share with you over the next 20 minutes. So let's pace ourselves.
Yeah.
First one's called Minutes, Hours, and Days. Can everybody hear me okay? Let's lay our words out one by one, like minutes, hours, and days, and pass our time in simple rhyme, like children here at play. Let's raise our swords to vanquish foes and cast our demons down, and bring our angels back to life, and then go paint the town. With dark phrases and bright ideas, let's run and tell our stories. Post metaphors on every door with glowing allegories. And when our lives are over and our poems are flower beds, may their fragrance ever linger and continue to be read. Let's lay our words out one by one, like weeks and months and years. And while the whole world worries by, let's write away our fears. Let's raise our pens to all our friends who with us here still play, to write our words out one by one, like minutes, hours, and days. We'll worry not if we're forgot in decades soon to come, for all these words we'll ever share, our souls remember some, and they'll be free for all to see. So this to you I say, write your words down one by one, like minutes, hours, and days. So I visited Salt Lake City a few months ago for the first time. I went to do some genealogy research at the Mormon Family Research Library for a novel I'm writing, and to attend an international family reunion. Orrin Hatch, the Utah congressman, and a distant relative, also attended. He defended his support for Donald Trump, saying he was going to win anyway. Both experiences had a Fellini-like quality to them. I enjoy trying to write in as many different styles as I can and to experiment with different voices, to whatever degree that's possible. I came back from Salt Lake City with this poem. It's called The Shovel and the Gun. Jehovah calls the poets to the top of the hill. He pours them full of holy with fire and a will. He sends them to the valley with all these things. He makes them shout it loud in the house of kings. He sends them down like Jesus, they come back like Job. Sends the tribes of Abe against the Alamo. Custer strikes Masada from the Jordan road. Then he drops them in the desert where the Mormons go. Judas counting silver at the supper table, cooking up a scheme with Cain and Abel. They brand a line of spirits called original sin, then kill off all the partners and begin again. Attacking Salt Lake City with Genghis Khan, Mormons on the hillside feeling put upon. Brigham blessing Mongols in the Temple Hill, baptizing in abstention till the water spills. Shakespeare making faces from a brand new Ford, cowboys guns a-blazing in the House of Lords, broken bit of china in the Queen's right hand, Hamlet with a hammer leads a marching band, Hitler in a Beamer down in Malibu, cruising to the Beach Boys after Waterloo, Churchill riding shotgun on the phone with spies, going out for drinks under purple skies, Napoleon in nappies in a safety seat, singing like a wild man out into the streets, every cop across the heartland drinking blood-red wine, parking under bridges with their AKs and 9s, Barbie with her legs up, Kenny around, getting hot and heavy with Bozo the Clown. Disney at the window taking copious notes, ends up creaming theme parks with his own wild oats. Close a bar in Bombay with a Buddhist priest, chase cows for fun down alleys, have the karma released. Recite the Book of Mormon in the Taj Mahal, read Kerouac and Gisborne on the China wall, coughing up a hairball like a Greenwich cat, asking Mr. Jones if he knows where it's at, holding up a finger in a heavy wind, when it hits the fan, don't you let it in. So honey, 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 it ain't all love and kisses. So honey, 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 those ain't our tasks. It's more a war of roses than a meet the misses. More flowers on graves and masquerading masks. Meet me at the crossroads of Eden's Highway 61. It's a garden and a jungle. Bring a shovel and a gun.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah. All right. Anybody think it's cool that Bob Dylan received the Nobel Prize for Literature last month? I remember being 13 back in the early 60s, sitting on a picnic table in my backyard in suburban Connecticut, getting chills up my spine. First time I heard the lyrics to some of his music. This poem has absolutely nothing to do with him. But I still think it's cool he got the prize. Bear with me. It's called Buddha Watched the Stone Tiger. Buddha watched the stone tiger, hovered the hush bamboo and sculptured landscape, Water buffaloes stood stock still, statues in their own right. Darkness had brought a soft relief to a toilsome time. The morning hours before the cranes flew were blessed. At the water's edge, the great river bathed itself. It had cleansed the world all night, a thankless job. It wrapped the colored silks of the new day over old scarves like salve. The morning hours before the cranes flew were blessed. On the steps of life, the pyre fires were still smoldering. Night had done its own somber job. High above the departing smoke was releasing loved ones. The morning hours before the cranes flew were blessed. The mountain mist in the distance yawned itself broadly, lay over the damp, fragrant land one last time, stroked and kissed and rose gently, revealed the long-fingered tribes embraced in the house of leaves. The morning hours before the cranes flew were blessed. Over the fertile farms and villages, over the plains of hunger and dry need, over the choked cities under industry's incense, across the countless miles of the not planted, across the decades of the not tended, across the millennia of the not reaped. Buddha watched the stone tiger. The morning hours before the cranes flew were blessed. So what would love be without poetry? And what would relationships be without love? It's the color of the sky in the morning, how it transitions from its baby blue to something like pink, where it meets the earth with a color less like haze than the impression of hair above a woman's upper lip that makes you want to kiss them both. It's in the way these colors of the sky blend together that raises this longing in me to be in your bed on this moment when you and I are so far away. Even the morning's full moon wishes it wasn't so far from home, and the sun comes above the horizon reluctantly, wishing it did not have to wake me from these thoughts of you. In the mood of gray. I tend to lean on memories, cloudy skies and similes. Comfortable days are like faded jeans and old sweaters. I never met a shade of gray sky I did not like. Rough weather soothes these feelings you left me. The fewer words, the better. When love comes around, I meet it at the door. Wipe your feet, come on in. Your coat becomes you like the rain becomes this November night. Shake it out, sit by the fire. I have whatever you need. All the visits you've stayed over, this wood stove holds the old flames and ancient ashes we burned well in winters long gone. I've something warm in the oven. Tea takes its own time. The cups are in the cupboard. My heart's where it's always been. I see you've been crying. Your tears will never put out this fire between us. I fixed the rocking leg on the broken chair. I cut from the seasoned hardwood of our youth. This is the season for sharing love and steadfast metaphors. Sleep under the blankets of mine when you have the heart. It's getting late. I'm going to bed. Okay. Last one on the relationship poems, but not the last one. What I never thought to imagine. Monastery crows tying ribbons of absolution to insecure weather vanes and pecking out love songs on tower bells. Icelandic fog dreaming of warmer seas it had once tasted on the wind-blown tips of adulterous waves. Your breath on my ear, painting your dreams in me while we both lay sleeping. Invisible colors flashing in mirrors breaking your heart and bringing inconsolable tears simply because they wish to be seen by someone in love. Short-lived emotional dust devils blowing across bone deserts searching for companionship. Darkness in its passion, yearning to reveal a beauty it was blind to, and so drives the night out to live alone. Perfectly folded silk scars, infused with the scent of fog, on shuttered windowsills of white beaches never visited. Remnants of memories and unclaimed thoughts left floating above pillows of day workers, who dreamed poets and painters took their misspoken words as brushstrokes of inspiration. Homeless love letters dropped like thunder from storm clouds asking forgiveness. An old postman on his last day of work, wondering how he would paint that feeling of disquiet he had had lately. The last time I would see you, and would I know it? It's hard to avoid reacting to the political situation in this country. It's hard to imagine how divisiveness can serve us as a nation. With so much fear and ignorance simmering in our history and in our psyche, we should wonder for whose benefit we are manipulated. When you've got a dozen children that you can't keep fed, and you're competing with the reptiles for your daily bread, You can cross the street in traffic and still end up dead, to be buried in a churchyard where the lambs are led. When you're leaning on a small desk and you just turned 7, you're force-fed bile for breakfast and you're told it's leaven. When you cough it up at midnight in a child's black dream, it's no wonder you turn 40 and you start to scream. You might drink a sea of empty when no one's home, or smoke a pound of nothing just to be alone. But you end up in the dark inside a hurricane, crying for a ton of something that can ease the pain. You can call it out to Jesus to come save your ass, or you could be a second coming, but can you make it last? Every day's a battle, you can see it's true. How you judge the one who's winning is up to you. So let's take it to the river with a gentle touch. If everyone's a giver, it don't hurt so much. When I wake up in the morning, let me say a prayer to the presence that is in me. Let me be aware. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Oh, Charles,